The siblings greeted the emperor calling him father and even used the imperial robe to wipe their tears. Everyone present was terrified and the eunuch rushed forward to seize the boy for punishment. But when he looked closely he froze because the boy looked exactly like the emperor when he was young. 7 years earlier the emperor had gone hunting and was thrown off a cliff when a wounded animal struck him. A woman who was gathering herbs in the mountains happened to see him still alive and carried him away. By the time the guards reached the bottom of the cliff they could not find any trace of their ruler. 6 years passed and the emperor had no memory of who he was. He lived with the woman who had saved him and eventually married her. They had a son and a daughter and even though they were poor they lived happily as a family. Before working in the fields he would hook pinkies with the children promising to bring them treats when he returned. He never realized that one casual wave goodbye would change all of their fates. Though his memory was gone his wife and children gave him endless strength. One day a soldier from the imperial guard appeared shouting long live the emperor. The man looked around confused since he saw no one else nearby. The general reported everything that had happened in the palace over the past 6 years and the man could not understand a word. Suddenly his head throbbed violently and he collapsed striking his head on a rock. Fragments of lost memory returned and he began to realize his true identity as the missing emperor. Though he remembered who he was his mind was still clouded and he forgot that he had a wife and children. When his wife brought food with the children to the fields they found only his torn clothes. No matter how much they cried out he never answered and the woman could only weep helplessly holding the children. Half a year later the village chief decided to seize their land claiming they had no man in the house. He wanted the widow to leave with her children even though the fields had been passed down from her parents. Because she had once refused to marry the chief's son and instead wed an outsider they now used her misfortune to bully her. The chief declared that she had only two choices to be abandoned in the cliff village or to leave with her children forever. But the woman never stopped believing her husband would return. At that time Su Yunyan who had married the 60-year-old prime minister as a concubine came back to the village. The clan leader greeted her with flattery believing that being a concubine in such a powerful household was a great honor. Though she was ranked 6th among the concubines she acted arrogantly and wanted the widow and her children to become her servants. The woman refused insisting she could support her children by farming. To please Su Yunyan the clan leader forced the widow and children to be sold into service. On the prime minister's 60th birthday the emperor himself visited the mansion. Su Yunyan disliked the widow and had her locked in a woodshed with the children. She dreamed of showing off before the emperor but he paid her no attention. When servants brought in dishes the emperor felt a strange familiarity and was struck with another sharp headache. He knew he was forgetting something important. Meanwhile the servants were beating the widow and she clung to one of them urging her children to escape. The children stumbled into the main hall begging for help and accidentally collided with the prime minister and Su Yunyan. Furious she ordered the children seized. As they struggled the boy suddenly recognized his missing father sitting on the dais. He broke free and rushed to the emperor's side crying that they had finally found him. He sobbed that while their father was gone others had bullied them and even hurt their mother. The boy even used the emperor's robe to wipe his tears leaving everyone in shock. The eunuch tried to drag the boy away to punish him but then noticed how the child looked exactly like the emperor in his youth. The prime minister came forward to confess his household's offense and ordered his servants to seize the children. But in that tense moment the emperor felt a stabbing pain in his chest and then a sudden relief as he released the children. He looked at them crying on the floor and could not bring himself to ignore their suffering. He commanded that the woman be brought forward so he could see